Welcome to KWO.
Hello, and welcome to another revolutionary edition of KWO. I am your unusual host, Dale, and as always, I've been joined by the lesser of two evils, and yet again, a very sick boy, Matt.
Hi, guys.
I'm never going to get adjusted to being on this side of recording. It's not my thing. I'm going to fuck it. But that's the joy of the game. And if you couldn't tell by the very subtle intro, today we are covering AEW Revolution 2022. The first pay-per-view of the calendar year. Typically they're one where they just go, you know what, fuck it, here's a match of the year. Just cash. This year they have multiple. This we'll get into. Well, first let's start with a buy-in. Matt, I'll let you take this one because you love this match.
Yeah, so the buy-in started with legit Layla Hirsch defeating Chris Statlander. It's not bad. It's a more physical women's match than AEW tend to put on. A lot of the AEW women are kind of flashier. Layla and Chris just went out there to beat shit through each other, but some of the spots looked rough. Just looked like things didn't hit right. It was, it was hard watching at parts. But then there were bits that looked really, really cool. It was this kind of weird in between where I enjoyed it for the most part, but I was taken out of it by Chris taking some real gnarly looking bumps. I would have hoped for better, but look, it was still fine. It's not a bad match. There's enough good in it that you can ignore the bad.
Yeah, it's just perfectly fine, really. I enjoyed it for the most part. I enjoyed them giving such a good showcase to not like actually properly featured women, as you could call them. You know, they aren't on the show on a regular basis. They've just been running the feud since, November, December? And it's picked up some mess steam. It's been a good match. Statlander since her return's been really good. And she's just got better and better, and she's worked the character a lot better. She's strayed away more from the alien shit. There's nothing much stood out about the match. Thought it was fine. We'll get into the ratings. Cage Match gave this a 6.46, which is about 3.25. I give it a 3.5. Matt, what did you give it?
Yeah, I was pretty close to Cage Match. I gave it a 3.25. Like I say, it's good for the most part. It's just a bit sloppy in parts, and it lets it down.
Now on to the second match of the buy-in. Possibly the first match of the year candidate on the show. Gone for Hook, defeating QT Marshall. It's Hook. It's Hook on pay-per-view. What more can I say? This was me in my happy place. You just get to watch Hook beat the shit out of QT Marshall, the world's worst darts player, for 4 minutes and 58 seconds to be precise. It's the Hook match. It's real. It's good. It's the Hook template, which is working well at the minute. But he showcased a bit more. It's like he wasn't just dominating in this match. He had a few moments of, he showed a few glimpses of weakness, which QT Marshall took advantage of, which is something that's not going to come across as major at the minute. Off that down the line, they've showcased his kryptonite, and I feel like someone in the next year, maybe 2 years, is going to look back at this and exploit it. As it just becomes more and more apparent what his weakness is. But it's a typical Hook match. Really, really hooky. Matt, what did you think?
I've just got to double check some facts before I actually started chatting shit. This is Hook's 6th match in his career, and his longest by a whopping 1 minute 38 seconds. So, he's getting more time, more exposure. And like you say, he actually just has to do some selling in this. QT gets quite a bit of offense in. But he still continues to impress. All his offense looks clean. I'm always impressed by Hook. Like, a guy of his build shouldn't be able to suplex people the way he suplexes people. He makes it look so easy. QT is just a model pro. We said about JD Drake on the Indie Roundup last week that he's the best guy at your local indie. QT's kind of that guy as well. Like, he's just an exceptional professional wrestler. But he's got like nothing else to him. He's just a really good pro wrestler.
And with that, we'll move into the ratings. Cage match didn't rate this match because it went under 5 minutes by 2 seconds. They couldn't have missed time with one spot, could they? Just so this match could get a rating. I gave it a 4.75 because it's Hook. Without Hook, it's a 3. But with Hook, it's a 4.75. Matt?
I give it a 3.5. It's a really good showcase of Hook. But it's less than 5 minutes. And it's not like exceptional. It's just a really good showcase.
Yeah, but it's Hook. So it's instantly, match of the year candidate. I thought you'd know that by now. We've discussed this. Shame. On to the next match. The 6-man tag between House of Black, consisting of Brody King, Buddy Matthews, and Malachi Black, defeating Death Triangles Pac, Penta Oscuro, and Eric Redbeard, with Alex Abrahantes. Matt, you love this match. You go ahead.
Yeah, you're damn right. I love this match. This was so hard hitting. Everything was so stiff. Every impact was like on the back of the neck, so on like the flat of the shoulders, and it looked so good. But because it's these 6 individuals, no one's getting hurt, like seriously hurt, but it looked stiff as fuck. The Brody King chops were very Walter-esque. Buddy and Malachi carry on looking exceptional as well. Penta Oscuro is the best reinvention of Penta, in how you took a guy who was super over, but also kind of like a fun baby face with the Zero Miedo thing, and tweak him so he's a bit more darker, a bit more of a tweener. Pac's wonderful. And it's cool to see Eric Redbeard get TV time. He doesn't really do much apart from like local indies that I hear about. But they give him a big platform and he looked great. There was, no issues with him at all. But yeah, I just enjoyed how much this is so good. Like how stiff this was, how innovative some of the spots were, especially when you've got Penta and Pac and Buddy in there. All crazy innovators. Yeah, big fan, big boy mark of this.
Yeah, this match was so good. This match has Malachi Black in it, so it's instantly good. Then we had Brody King, Buddy Matthews, Pac, Penta. It's so good. But then even having Eric Redbeard in, who in this match showed so much more than he was ever really given a chance to show in WWE. Because he looked really good in this. He looked far from Eric Rowan. He was so much more mobile, a lot more stiff. Everything he did just felt a lot stronger. And it doesn't seem like it's the same person. But he's gotten a lot better, outside the restrictions of WWE. And honestly, I hope you bring him in on some kind of pay-as-you-need deal. Just where he can bring him in occasionally to do some stuff, do some grabs, and make me happy because it's more beef. If there's anything AEW needs, it's more beef. And as my notes read, beef. We'll move on to the ratings. Cage match, disappointingly, only gave this a 7.77. It's about 3.75, just below a 4. That's heartbreaking. Malachi frowns upon you bastards. I gave it a 4.5. This match slapped beef. It slapped neck. It slapped chins as well. Matt, what would you rate it?
I give it a 4.75. I think this is the first real match of the year contender the show puts out, and it's on the fucking pre-show.
Where can we find the pre-show, Matthew?
The pre-show is available wherever you watched Revolution, or on YouTube, on the AEW YouTube channel.
You can watch this fucking match on YouTube.
For free.
For fucking free?
No money required. Zero money.
Zilch. Just requires your attention.
You don't even have to send your money to Dan Housen.
But you shall send him all your monies. With this match and Bryan versus Suzuki, I mean, they love a good buy-in banger, don't they? They've had a lot of good matches on buy-ins that are just free to watch on YouTube casually.
Worst part is the Suzuki Bryan match isn't even like a PPV buy-in. It's from a random episode of Dynamite.
Rampage.
Yeah, sorry, Rampage.
Yes. Should know the difference by now. Disgusting. Honestly, watch this match. Watch the entire pre-show. It's got a hook on it. That's the reason you should watch the entire pre-show. Hook. Now we'll move on to the main show, which opened with Eddie Kingston versus Chris Jericho. Before I move into saying anything, Matt, can you tell the people what I said before the match started? What was it word for word that I said?
I've been drinking and I don't remember.
I said this match is going to be fine, but I think it's just got 3.5 written all over it. This match was so good. Like, someone shoot me because I was wrong. I was really wrong. I didn't have high expectations for this match, but it just absolutely slapped literally from the get-go. It went straight to 100. It didn't start with big moves and story and targeting Eddie's orbital bone that it's just come back from. It's fucking his eye up. And Jericho being a dick, because Jericho's great at being a dick. Honestly, this match is everything. It's got neck, it's got face, it's got Eddie, it's got Jericho pushing Aubrey again. That was always a great feature they did. Glad to bring him back. That sounds really bad out of context, but hey ho. This match is just really, really good. I've got nothing but positive to say about it. Matt?
Yeah, they let Eddie Kingston go out and do that old Japan style match he's always wanted to do. And they let him do it with Jericho. I'd never noticed before, Kingston doesn't chop. When they do the chop spots, he's back fisting people in their chest. He's a fucking maniac. Honestly, I love Eddie so much. The finish was a real cool finish. I said multiple times during the match, as mentioned, I had been drinking. I've never seen someone target the orbital bone before. Like, target the eyes, yeah, that's pretty common. Target the orbital bone. That's a fresh one. And it also makes sense because that's pretty much where Judas Effect hits. So smart. Honestly, this was so well put together. Like, everyone needs praise. Kingston's an absolute hero. And yeah, Dill's not alone. Everyone said it's going to be good because it's an Eddie match, but it's going to be on a card of crazy matches. This is just going to be fine. And it managed to rise above it. It was so good.
It's like that Michael Jordan meme from The Last Dance. They heard us say that and they took it personally. It's such a good match. From that, I'll move into the ratings. Cage match gave us 8.27, which fair rating there. Fair fucking rating. I can tell you for certain, it's higher than 3.5. I gave it a 4. It's a really good match. So much better than I expected. Really, really enjoyable.
I went 4.25. It was really good. Really enjoyed it. Was scared to rate it much higher because of the rest of the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think this match is one of those things that made me scared to rate it higher. Next match was the AEW World Tag Team title match of Jurassic Express defending against Red Dragon and the Young Bucks. I mean, are you ready to take this one? Are you ready?
I was born ready, mate. This match is crazy. Honestly, this is the Young Bucks love Revolution. They have it circled on the calendar, and every year they're like, we're going to have a Dirty Dave slap banger match number 2 of the main card. Please and thank you. Every year, without fail. And they really went and fucking did it again, didn't they? It was just constantly in motion. It's like, where do you start with all the spots? Every team looked fluid. Every team got more than their fair share of kicks in. Luchasaurus hot tag is forever one of the best hot tags in wrestling. Jungle Boy's offense. There was one spot when he came out of the corner. And he, I can't remember exactly what he did.
He hit some sort of dive move on someone.
Yeah,
but then he landed on Kyle. He picked up Kyle and hit a snap German straight from that.
Did he do a poison Rana? And then as he hit the poison Rana, he grabbed Kyle on the way down. And then kind of like a locomotion German from it.
It was... Honestly,
I can't.
It all happened so fast.
Yeah. Like I say, it was so fluid. It was so frantic. Some of the super kicks the Bucks were hitting. Some of the psychology they were doing before it became a mass brawl, when everyone was in the ring fucking fighting everyone. And it was like, who's legal? Who's tagging who? Oh, we're going to stop tagging you guys in now because you're just trying to fuck us. Yeah, it's just great. They lean far enough into the WWE can they coexist shit that it's like fun, but doesn't go too far into the WWE can they coexist shit that I'm like, fucking just die. You know what I mean? It was a good level of can they coexist.
Yeah, because if this was WWE, they'd make it an 8-man tag team titles just for these 4 fuckers to win. So you can ask, can they coexist?
Yeah, honestly, exceptional. I don't think anyone expected less than great, but it exceeded expectations. It was very, very good. Dill?
I love this match. The Young Bucks are the greatest tag team of all time. I'm saying it. I'll take all the shit, but I'm saying it. Honestly, I don't get people who... I get it's not your cup of tea, but I don't get people who don't like the Young Bucks. Because they're just such a unique tag team. Like, such a unique evolution of tag team wrestling and storytelling. And just a mixture of every single style possible. Strong style and flippy shit. And just old school 80s tag team wrestling. Young Bucks are a mix of all 3 at once. As much as Jim Cornette would hate to admit it, they are an absolute mix of all 3 at once. And they also have them inklings of comedy wrestling in there as well. That everything they do matters. And without Young Bucks in this match, I don't think this would be nearly as good as it was. Just everything that happened flowed so nicely. It all came out so well. Luchasaurus is possibly one of the best big men in wrestling. Like, when he's hot, he's fucking ridiculous. Like, the amount of shit he can do just out of nowhere, he shouldn't be able to do. Right. Like you said, his hot tag is the best hot tag in wrestling, without any shadow of a doubt. So I don't get how he doesn't stop. Like, he had both Young Bucks and chokeslam whilst he was on the floor, did a kip up and kept both men in his hands. I don't get how you do that. I don't get how that makes sense. But it happened, and it was fucking incredible. Like the rest of the match was. Absolutely loved every bit of this match. Moving to the ratings. Cage match gave this one a 8.53, which equates to a 4.25. I give this a 5. This is right up my alley. Flips, kicks, Young Bucks. If it had Ray Phoenix, it'd be everything I was looking for. Matt?
Yeah, it was real close for me, but I gave it a 4.75. It was just a little... It didn't hit the 5 threshold for me. There is a match on the card that does, but it's not this. But this is very, very good and is going to be a match for the year contender for a lot of people.
Honestly, last year, I couldn't get a 5-star match for Love No Money until All Out. Now I've got 2 this year already. What a year. Young Bucks, we've got 2 of my last 3. Best tag team going. No competition. On to the next match, which is the Fate of the Revolution ladder match, which consisted of Wardlow, Christian Cage, Matt's beloved and life, Keith Lee, Orange Cassidy, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks. It's an AW ladder match and there's lots of beef. OC does some mental comedy acrobats. It's a weird one because it's really good, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like they teased the beef too much, but without ever really going into it. And all we wanted was the beef. There was too much beef teasing. It's like dangling McDonald's in front of me and lobbing a fucking piece of lettuce in my face. It was really sad. We didn't get the full-on beef cuddles and everything. Because every time the 3 beef boys started squaring up, OC was there. And yeah, after the second time, it stopped being funny. Wardlow won this, which was very obvious, to be fair. But it's the good kind of obvious where you really want it to happen, scared it won't happen, but they made it happen. And I'm so excited to see where they go from it now. Because Wardlow is Wardlow. He's possibly one of the most exciting things in all of wrestling right now. I'm so excited to see anything he does. Matt, what were your thoughts on this match?
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat to you. I'm a little bit underwhelmed by it. I got really excited when the first 3 guys who qualified were big beefy boys, and we thought we were going to get a big beef ladder match. Then obviously they leveled out with the other people in there. And there's a few like really cool spots. The powerbomb to Starks on the ladder was cool. Keith Lee eating the fuck out of Orange Cassidy was cool. A couple of Orange Cassidy kind of like, I don't even know the word to describe them, like unusual attempts to grab the ring were cool. But yeah, you are right, they teased the beef way too much. And we got the beef for like maybe 2 minutes, and it wasn't even really in the ring, it was on the ramp, so it wasn't as effective. I don't really know what Christian did in this ladder match, apart from the cool Keith Lee like sneaking up behind him.
They recreated the meme. Yeah, I forgot to mention my favourite part of the match.
Yeah, apart from recreating the meme, though, what else did he do?
He was Christian.
He didn't really do anything.
What does he need? He's Christian. What more does he need?
I assume they put him in so he had an experienced head in case things went south, which I assume they did when Osi got injured after he got yeeted the fuck away. But yeah, it was just a bit. He was just there, wasn't he?
He's Christian. Be happy he's there.
if you're in a ladder match, you need to do more. You can't just be there.
It's Christian. He could have just fucking sat in corner all fucking match, and I would have been happy because you're Christian. He's the only Christian I'm ever happy to see.
Yeah, but the match itself is fine. Keith didn't get to do the big boy Keith things I enjoy. Hobbs didn't even get to hit one spine buster. And I think Wardlow only got to hit 2 power bombs, so I'm a little sad. Didn't even symphony anyone. I'm glad he won, but it was just a bit. I don't know if they got told they had to cut out time, cut out spots. I don't know what happened, but it was a little bit lacking from what I wanted. But fundamentally, it is still very good. If that makes sense, like it's good, but it's not what I wanted. So I'm disappointed.
Yeah, like there's nothing actively wrong with it. It's just this things they teased that we wanted, but we didn't actually get, which held it back.
It's also like things you kind of expect from a ladder match. Like you expect like
everybody climbs the ladders.
Yeah, you also. I'm not lost by that spot not existing, but
I don't know.
You expect a few finishes to be hit. Did anyone hit a finisher?
I think Christian hit a kill switch off a lot. I think he hit a kill switch.
Pretty sure he didn't.
I'm sure he hit a kill switch.
Oh, Dale, we did forget to talk about one thing.
What was it?
Danhausen came out and cursed people.
Danhausen.
And most importantly, Danhausen was in gear.
He was in gear, actually, yeah. I noticed that.
And he actually got physical with someone. He put his hands on someone.
We're getting there.
We're getting close.
Where was it he cursed? Was it Starks?
Yeah, he started with Starks. So this is we're going to get Danhausen and Keith Lee against Team Taz. I don't know why that would be a thing, but I'm in. Done. Money. Take it. Goodbye. Back to you, Del.
I mean, yeah, I'll just go on to the ratings. Cage Match gave this a 7.49. I gave this a 4.25. It would be 3.75 without Christian, but Christian gave it an extra half. Matt?
I gave that 3.75. It's fine.
Why don't you love Christian enough? Why? You should love Christian more. Are you prepared to accept Lord Christian Cage into your life?
I've said this before and I'll say it again. He literally does nothing for me. I have no interest. Christian Cage.
Wow.
I missed his main event run. Completely. I was not in wrestling at that time. So the Christian I remember is the early 2000s one that came out with the ballad, like the operatic singing and the weird pyro.
Christian!
That one, yeah. I can't sing it. My throat is garbage.
I'm just saying, for my money, Christian's had a similar level run to Edge. There's a few better matches.
Absolutely. Edge's matches have been better.
No, I prefer some of Christian's matches. His Kenny match. His Kenny matches. His Alexander match.
I'd say his Kenny match is as good as Edge's Seth Rollins match.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'd say, what was your one, Josh Alexander?
Yeah.
That's not fair. Josh Alexander's a guaranteed 4-star match for any man.
Yeah, there we go. And I feel like Edge was possibly the beginning of the end for Roman because fans coming back.
Roman's probably as good as Christian versus Alexander, to be fair.
No, I'm not allowing that.
All right, I mean, the triple threat definitely is.
The triple threat, yeah, I can allow that.
Oh, I'll use that one instead if that means you agree.
But it had Bryan Danielson in it. It had Bryan Danielson in it.
Oh, what? So you can use a wrestler who's guaranteed a good match, but I can't?
I mean, it's different.
It's not different.
It's Bryan Danielson.
Just Alexander.
Yeah, exactly.
Guaranteed 4-star plus.
Yeah, so it's Brian.
Exactly.
Brian's at very least 4.25 every time he breathes.
Exactly. Josh isn't far behind.
No, he's not. And if I turn to have a match, I'm pretty sure my heart would explode. That's not the point. Somehow we've escaped from the point of rating this match and gone to me craving Alexander versus Brian.
I'm on board with it.
I mean, I'll pay all the monies.
Yeah, let's get Alexander and the Cuddle Boys, please.
Cuddle Collection.
Oh, we could go for Cuddle Collection now.
Yeah, it's always been Cuddle Collection, mate.
I thought it was Cuddle Boys because it was just boys before. Now it's Cuddle Collection.
It's always been Cuddle Collection.
Is it because you want Serena Deeb in there so you can't call it Cuddle Boys?
No, I've never thought of Serena Deeb, to be honest. I started to call it the Cuddle Collection. I like alliteration, to be honest. We'll move on to the next match for the TBS title with Jade Cargill with one Smart Mark Sterling against Tay Conti with one Anna Jay. Matt, you have the pleasure of talking about this one. Go ahead.
So I do feel, in a way, these two women were like, let's completely break the internet. And, between Jade cosplay and the kiss, literally as the bell went, they've pretty much done that. All I've seen are tweets about Jade and Tay kissing. All I've seen on Reddit is conversations about Jade and Tay kissing. We're literally 4 days after the pay-per-view and it's still all I see. I don't get it. It was two women who kissed in the storyline. Do you watch Coronation Street and talk every time there's a lesbian kiss on there? Do you tweet that? No. Get a grip, perverts. The actual match was possibly the best Jade's ever looked. The taunts when she was doing like the karate stances and stuff, very good. Tay's great. Tay is so consistently good. And I feel like she can get a decent match out of anyone. I do have a couple of negatives. The fact that Jade took a steel chair to the head and still managed to win baffles me a little. Like, it wasn't like there was a delay or anything. It just... I understand we want to make Jade to look strong, but we don't want her to make look, superhuman. There's a difference. But apart from that, yeah, it was good. Also, Jade calling Mark a little bitch made my day. Still.
I mean, I've got nothing else about it other than the fact that Jade is money. She's legitimately made out of money. Like, you can't have the presentation and the personality 1 year into a run whilst, like, evidently getting so much better in the ring every single week. Like, in a year or so, she's going to be a complete package because she's got everything else down. In ring, she's gotten to the point where she's fine now, and she's a year into her career. Like, she has no right to be that good. It shouldn't work like that. But I've always seen Tay's praises. It's not even like she's actively fine all the time. So every match she does is actively good. And I'm going to say every time I see her do grabs, how did WWE follow this up? I don't get it.
You want to just quickly add? I will still maintain to this day, Tay is Britt Baker's best title defense. She took Britt to the best title defense Britt's had all right.
Honestly, I think in the next 2-3 years, she's possibly going to be the best women's wrestler outside of, I don't know, that's never exaggeration because everyone's still going to be around and everything. She's going to be the best women's wrestler in AEW in 3 years. She's just that good, and she gets better still. And it's just really impressive to see that someone so talented that actively didn't get used in the WWE system. And even during the quote-unquote Wednesday Night Wars, before she went to AEW, was occasionally getting used, but wasn't being used as much more than what she's been used as. Well, shouldn't she been used as even a tenth of what she's been used as now?
They jumped out to Kaden Carter. Like, the fuck?
Honestly, it's like every time I think about it, it boggles my mind that they couldn't get anything out of her. She's got the fucking background to make something out of it.
I just realised what I said might have sounded like a dig against Kaden Carter. It wasn't meant that way.
It's a dig at her presentation.
Yeah, the fact she was booked as just angry Brazil girl was so strong. She's a fucking trained, was it Brazilian judo? Brazilian jiu-jitsu?
Judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I think it's a black belt in judo and a blue belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Mental. Absolutely mental. The woman has got, I think it's not much over 50 matches. Oh no, because she's done over 50 in AEW. But, yeah, she's got less than 200 matches to her name. 178 matches in 5 years. That's crazy that she's that good at this point. Absolutely crazy.
I think she's got so much further to go as well. And it's scary to think how good AEW's women's division is going to be. Because I'll always maintain they've got the best women's roster in the Western world. But what they don't have is the booking of it. So when everyone slates AEW's women's division, it's not the division. Because the division is actively excellent, I'd say. It's really good. It's just not given the platform, which is very often pointed out during the criticism of the division, but it's misdirected frustration because it is a spectacular division. 3 matches on this card, all featuring 6 women that are at varying levels of good to fantastic. And I don't think there's many on that women's roster that are anything below meh. I actually don't think there is any below meh. I think everyone's at the very least fine. And everyone's got a good place on the card with view to going up more. I think this match kind of sums up. Tehu, I think it was at Full Gear. Was it Full Gear where she challenged Britt? Or was it All Out?
I'm pretty sure it was Full Gear. Give me a sec. Yeah, Full Gear.
Yeah, so she's had 2 back-to-back title matches at pay-per-views. It shows how highly she's thought of. And it's good to see she's getting thought of that highly. It's good to see how much work she's put in to constantly get better. So she's putting in so much work onto more than just wrestling as well. She's getting better at promos, her entire presentation. They're working on every aspect of every woman. They're making them all complete performers rather than just making good wrestlers or good talkers.
I want to add as well, she's actively putting herself out there trying to wrestle for other companies to learn more styles. She's got bookings now with Triple R coming up. Yeah. She's talking about going over to DDT or the other Japanese promotion that women can do that isn't Stardom, and doing some matches there once everything opens back up, just so she can learn more and improve, which is great. You don't see that dedication. You don't. She honestly wants to be the best she can be. And she could leave wrestling behind and do modeling or some other shit and make a fortune. I have no doubt. But the fact she wants to learn and carry on getting battered, it's crazy. She's such talent, absolute talent.
And WWE followed this woman up. How have we spent so long on just talking about how good Tay is? It's just ridiculous how good she's going to be if she does all that. Because her mentality has always been absolutely, pun intended, elite. I'm honestly so excited to see more of Tay. I'd hope the rest of the roster gets more of an kind of platform so we can see more big feuds for Tay. I think Tay really shines in these feuds. She's really good. it is coming out, just talking a little bit of shit off mic, then kicking shit out of someone. She's really good at that. We spent enough time talking about how good Tay is. We'll go on to the ratings. Cage match gave us a 5.26, just 2.5, between 2.5 and 2.75. I give this 3.5. I thought it was really solid. I thought it was fine. Nothing really stood out, but you can see that loads of progress being made to build up Jade, and I feel like this is what this match is for. And Tay did really well to make it look strong. Jade did really well to sell the little bits of offense she took off Jade. Really, really solid match. Matt, what would you give it?
I'd love them to run this match back in like a year or two's time, and they've both got another 50, 100 matches under the belt, just so we can see the difference. But when I've just got a bit more experience, because I reckon it would be crazy. It would have got a 3.75 till. But let me tell you what happened in this match that I forgot to talk about. There was a pile driver kick out.
I was fucking hoping you'd forget about that.
Nope. Never forget to. I note down every single time.
I remembered it, and you didn't say it. I was like, he's forgotten. He's not going to fucking bitch about it for once. No.
Nope. So instead of getting a 3.75, this match got a 3.5 from me.
Now we get to move on to a match I get to talk about, and I'm really excited to talk about it. I can finally talk about it after the match trying to hold me back from talking about my dreams. It's the dog collar match between one Charles Montgomery, chick magnet, Chicago-made punk, against one my jerk-off friend, Maxwell Jacob Fuckface, MJF, whatever you want to call him. This match was really fucking good. It's like, in every sense of the word, this is a complete match. It's like, it's not my kind of 5-star, but it's a really kind of complete match. There's everything in this match. There's literally everything. There's so much story, there's violence, there's even more story. There's brief elements of comedy that aren't kind of going against the seriousness of the story. And so much gets furthered, so much character development. Punk, and he saw with MJF first. MJF like faking out the crowd, coming out to Cult of Personality before his theme plays. Then Punk doing a double fake out, actually coming out to his Ring of Honor theme, dressed in Ring of Honor gear, which I think their gear itself is a throwback to his dog collar match of Raven, I believe. I think the vast majority of his feud's been a throwback to his feud with Raven in Ring of Honor. And I just love this feud. I love this match. I love everything about this match. I love Wardlow coming out. One point, MJF calls him out so he can give him the Dynamite Diamond Ring. But Wardlow can't find it to give to him. MJF's not happy because he can't find it. Then Punk takes advantage of the stoppage. Then Wardlow finds the ring. And he just leaves it. He just leaves it on the canvas for Punk to use. Punk uses it, punches MJF, who falls into thumbtacks. Punk wins. This was one of them matches where it literally could have gone any way, and you can't argue with it because there's logical developments with every single turn. It's like a fucking roundabout with how many logical turns there is. It's one of its fantastic stories. This just come for years. Like, excluding the Hangman arc, because it's still ongoing and is in a league of its own. This is possibly the best feud that's happened in wrestling since Hogan and Savage. For my money, I can't think of a better feud. Matt, what do you think about this match?
This is the Rock Austin Mania X7 match. And what I mean by that is, it is two guys who maybe aren't the best technical wrestlers, but crafting a story in ring to share with us via, the means of wrestling. This is And I 100% think, should they have a third, Punk versus MJF will be the best trilogy in wrestling. I have no doubt that that's probably going to be the case. This didn't get a 5 from me. I'm going to level with you now because I have a few minor niggly issues that I'm not going to talk about because I can't remember them very well. But what I will say is the fact the comedy didn't take away from the match but added to it, the fact the interference added to it, the fact the tax added to it, the fact that MJF literally grabbed a mic and started chatting shit to Punk through the middle of the match added to it. Everything was so perfectly done. I think Punk called it a love letter to wrestling, and he's 100% right, it is, because it encompassed the technical aspects, the storytelling aspects. They're both geniuses. They're both real students of the craft, and I can't really say much more because they're just great. They just both absolutely went out there and smashed out the park. This had no right to be this good. No right at all. I've been pretty lukewarm on Punk's matches since his return, but this was exceptional. Absolutely exceptional.
Honestly, I'm shocked you think this is better than it has any right to be. Because this was the match I was most looking forward to. This was my match.
What I meant by that is the story going into it hyped it, but in ring I expected to be bored because MJF can raise his game to match people like Jungle Boy and Darby and Sammy like we've seen, but mostly he's fine. Most of the time he coasts in ring, and again I don't mean that in a negative way. Just there's no point bringing your A game when your B game will do. He knows he's got to preserve his bump card. But they both brought their A game. And like I say, I've been lukewarm on Punk in ring since he's come back. So I was expecting it to be all story, kind of no action. And it exceeded all my expectations.
Mate, when you see the words dog collar, you know AEW taking it serious. Because they've got that old school mentality of respecting these stipulations, and that's put respect on these names, and they don't use them too often, and they don't fuck her over, they don't have DQs in Hell in a Cell matches, etc.
Did you hear that Paul Turner has done the last 3 big dog collar matches? He reffed Punk Raven, he reffed Brody Cody, and he reffed this. That's
incredible. Because Paul Turner's just an exceptional ref. He's just so solid. He does everything right.
It's just how that's a small bit of storytelling that casual fans won't care about. But for the smart fans, they'll be like, "You fucking genius, Tony Khan."
I think in terms of refs, I think Paul Turner's right up there. He's like the James Milner of refs. He's just really, really solid and has been for so many years. But because he's just solid, he doesn't stand out because he just does his job, and that's a sign of a good ref when you don't notice him. But I think it's getting to the point now where they do get noticed.
Yeah, because he kind of fades into AEW's kind of ref roster. Because Aubrey's very noticeable because she's very animated, and Bryce is very noticeable because he's
Bryce.
Yeah, he's got a lot of personality. And Rick Knox is very noticeable because he's shit. So the fact Paul's just a good ref kind of just means he falls into the background a lot.
Yeah.
But he's
I love
great.
most of them refs. I don't like Knox because he is shit. But I love all of them refs because I thought that's one of the best things AEW do. They aren't just robots, which is kind of cool. So I always hate when refs are just there. I always like when he added something extra. So I was always such a big fan of Earl Hebner. So he always had a bit more of an edge to him and always had a bit of a story. He'd always have something else that stand out a bit more. Brian Hebner, he always had something that stood out a bit more. When refs have something else and something extra, I don't know why, but as long as it's not overdone, it adds something to things. Like in the opener with Aubrey and Jericho. Whenever they've had interactions, it's been really good. I'm a big fan of refs just having a bit of personality, because it just makes everything feel a bit more interesting. I feel like, especially with rules as well, because I feel like referees have different kind of leniency with rules, different levels of leniency, especially depending on the importance of the match. And I'm a big fan of it. Because I feel like sometimes you're going to want to bend the rules a little bit. It's like, as a ref, you're going to want to allow it if you think it's important enough. Or if you're a James Milner of refs like Mr. Turner is, then nothing gets by. And so how are we going to have a 5-minute rant about refs? I think we are I can't even think of words now, but we're the kings of getting sidetracked. It's just time to move on to the ratings now. Cage Match gave us a 9.04, which is 4.5. I give this 4.75. It's really fucking good in every sense of the word. Matt, what did you give it?
4.75, exceptional match of the year candidate.
Now we'll move on to the next match. Matt, you get to talk about this one. I imagine you've got a lot to say about this. The AEW Women's World Title match between Dr. Britt Baker with Jamie Hayter and Rebel against Thunder Rosa. Take it away.
You know all this praise you've literally just spent 5 minutes giving Paul Turner. He refereed this match too.
Covered in blood.
Why? You've just made him look like a genius, like an absolute hero referee in Punk MJF. And then you make him look like a right fucking knob. Put Knox out for this. Honestly, this is one of my many marks against this. This match is not good. This is everything that was good about last year's St. Patty's Day Brawl is completely torn up and destroyed in this match. This match is the antithesis of what was wrong. Luke, Rosa, it's frustrating because I'm going to say things that might not come true in the future, but I'm assuming they're going to. They're doing St. Patty's Day 2022 in Thunder Rosa's hometown, where she is likely to challenge Dr. Britt Baker. So she's probably going to get a win there. Why fucking put this match on the show? Why? I physically don't understand the logic. If you just can have it in 2 weeks, just put like a mini feud. Put Mercedes Martinez here. Let Baker go over Martinez, and then Rosa gets Baker at St. Patty's Day. It's not hard. Not difficult. Very easy. Very simple. But no, we have to go through 17,000 fucking distraction spots. Hater and Rebel all over the show. No one's supporting Thunder Rosa because she's not built up any friendships in AEW. We've not seen multiple women defended before, but none of them could come up this time. No one ever got sent to the back and Baker wins. Lol. It was so poorly done. Honestly, this is the most insulted I felt by AEW because it made me question my own intelligence. Why has the ref not sent them to the back the first time we started fanning around? Why is no one coming out for help Thunder Rosa? None of this makes sense. If you wanted to do Baker versus Rosa in a steel cage, literally have Hater and Rebel save Baker against Mercedes, and then when Rosa gets her match at St. Patty's Day, she says, I want it in a steel cage because I'm sick of these bitches interfering. Oh, it makes logical sense. Oh, I'm so annoyed. The more I'm talking about this match, the lower I'm rating it in my brain. It pissed me off. Dill.
I'm nowhere near as against it as you are, because I think that having this match here does serve the purpose of it's dangling the carrot almost. Then it's building up to the definite coronation they're going to have a St. Patty's Day Slam.
When they dangle the carrot in the most insulting way to your intelligence. we praise AEW for smart booking. The rest of this card is smartly booked. This match is booked like Vince. This is Vince's booking.
But if you have Rosa win the title when the crowd's dead, because the crowd was dead for this match, he had no chance of getting hyped up for this.
They shouldn't have put Rosa on the show then. They put it in a shit spot. It's in literally the worst spot on the card.
But then what about the criticism they're going to get for not postponing the Rosa match even more? Because that's been the long-running criticism for months.
As a fan, I'd rather it have been postponed once more and then make it super obvious she's winning her own home fucking time like it is now than have this insult to my intelligence.
But then how do you get the number one contenders match versus Layla? Because this is going to it because
she was cheated out of it.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe don't have a number one contenders match. Maybe literally announce the winner of Mercedes versus Britt faces Thunder Rosa, St. Patty's Day Slam in a steel cage. Or you don't even have to add the steel cage originally until Baker wins via Hater. I don't. It's just the stupidity of it. Why have I gone to believing that Mercedes or Conte Arana or anyone else who's fucking got a problem with Britt, which is half the women in the locker room, haven't come and helped? It doesn't make any sense. Why is the best ref AEW has not sent the bitch she's interfering to the back? It doesn't make any sense. It's poorly done.
Yeah, like the whole ref thing is poorly done. But I get everything that happened in the match. Like, I get it. It's almost making an unpredictable match on the card for a pay-per-view. Because you want an unpredictable... You don't want to have a match where you know Baker's going to retain. Especially when when you've had so many of them before. Then we're finally getting the match. But then it's dangling the carrot. It's delaying the inevitable. It's like the Hangman match. It's like the 6-man they did, or 8-man, whatever it was, with Hangman, Dark Order versus the Elite. It's thinking Hangman's going to get that match all out, but then he doesn't. Then it's the exact same. It's frustrating, but it's frustrating because you want the outcome. Like, you're annoyed because of all the interference.
The 10-man made sense. From a narrative standpoint, it made sense. The Dark Order gambled their title match so Hangman could potentially get his. Sorry, the other way around. Hangman gambled his title match so the Dark Order could get theirs. It made sense. He believed in his friends and everyone lost because the elite are the elite. That made sense. That was a Hangman decision. This wasn't a Rosa decision. This was poor reffing and for some reason her magically no longer having friends.
Yeah, it's hard frustrating. You're frustrated because you didn't get the right outcome. You're frustrated at how this outcome has come about. And it's going to create a greater satisfaction of when the actual outcome comes and she can actually get a big pop in the main event in her hometown in a steel cage. It's the big thing. And it's like, it's not the ideal thing to do, but I don't think it's as bad as you're making out personally. But I'm not as against it. I quite don't think it's as bad. I don't think it's good, but I don't think it's as bad. So I can accept it because I know what's coming. So AEW have built up a trust within me to know where this is going and to trust the decisions, even if I don't like what's going on in the meantime. If I've been given the opportunity to trust, I'm going to follow that trust. So I can't do that with WWE, so I can definitely do it with AEW. They've given me plenty of reason to trust the process.
They've given me no reason to trust the process, but the women, because I think it's been poorly done all along. I do. There's been occasional good matches, but every title reign's been poorly mishandled, bar Jade so far. So, yeah, with the women, I've got no trust the process. The process needs reevaluating. With the men, I'd 100% just be like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll level itself out. It tends to work itself out.
Honestly, I think he's going to be fine, because I think once Rosa wins, it's going to be a big reset. I think AEW struggles a bit more with having heel champions, having face champions. But I think the women's division thrives a bit more with face champions. I think it's got a weird dynamic like that. I feel like Hangman's had a similar problem that Baker's had, really, just having feuds, having matches so far. And I feel like when Rosa takes the belt, she's going to have a lot more like actual stories and, you know, something's more than just, oh, you want my belt? You can't have my belt. It's my belt. This is my house. I'm a dentist. I'm from Pittsburgh. Here's my scarf. I think it's going to be a lot more than just that. I feel like Baker's just become too much of her own thing to just face people, because no one's felt like they're on her level other than Rosa and maybe Jade, but you can't put the belt on Jade. It's just a case of putting the belt on Rosa, who can bring people up to her level more than Baker could, because Baker's whole thing is belittling and being an absolute bitch. So I think once Rosa's actually got a hold of the belt, the division's going to face a steady increase. I hope. I'm trusting it. If they fuck up this one, then that's where my trust goes. But if this one goes well, I can trust until Rosa's done something or hasn't done something. That's where my mindset's at right now. I think that's the closest we've ever come to having an argument on the podcast. We'll move on to the ratings. Cage Match gave us a 4.46. It's about 2.25 nearly. I gave it a 3. I felt tired when I watched this. I found it tough to give it a rating. I just gave it a 3. Matt?
It's insulting.
Move on to the next match. This is a singles matchy match between two potential members of the Cuddle Collection. Jon Moxley takes on Bryan Danielson. This match is neck and stiffness and more stiffness and brutality and fighting and scrapping and neck and kicking shit out of each other. It's just good. It's just everything you expected from a match between these two. It's everything you'd want. So if you picture this match, you can visualize the entire match in your head. It's exactly as you think. And it's absolutely worth it. It's really good. Like the story, it's a steady build throughout. So it starts off grappling, then it gets more and more and more intense until it builds to the big bloody crescendo. And oh my God, was it worth it? It's like watching this match is almost like you're just stuck in the zone watching it. Even looking back, I can't think of anything because your eyes are just fixed to the screen. Because there's just so much going on that you want to take in and you don't want to miss anything. Because you can look away for 1 second and you've missed about 10 different things. Because there's so many different nuances going on. It's so good. It's everything you want. It's everything you need. It's all the graps. It's all the neck. It's like New Japan used to be. It's good shit. Really good, stiff, good shit. I don't know. I'm just trying to sound smart. I don't know what New Japan used to be. Matt, you do your thing.
My first note said this is the most old school New Japan match I've seen in a long time.
Oh, did I do it right then? Did I do it right?
You did it right.
I just like to try and sound smart, to be honest.
You did a good job.
Yeah, I just look at my horse. That's the thing that's coming into my head.
Yeah, Danielson's done his best to bring pure style wrestling to AEW, and Moxley goes full murder granddad on him. Like, this was phenomenal. This, like, no word supplies. This is my match of the night. This is 5 stars. This is perfection. Absolute perfection. Because there's no spots. Not in like a traditional spot sense. This is just two people beating shit through each other. Submissions, strikes, brawling. It's so good. This is the best John Moxley's looked in his life. 100%. This is the best John Moxley match I have ever seen. And yeah, we've said Bryan Danielson can drag anyone to a 4.25 match just by being in the ring with them, which is correct. But Moxley brings that edge and knocks this up another couple of notches. This is so good. And I thought even including the Dream post-match angle in my little review here, but because Dylan didn't mention it, I'm fucking going to. William Regal. Big Daddy Reegs. He comes out and slaps them both like the naughty school kids and makes them shake hands. Not in my rating, but it's fucking phenomenal. I love this pay-per-view so much. This match, after how angry I got at the last match, made me so happy that it just existed. This was just a pure little bubble of 20 minutes of pure wrestling, of people kicking shit through people, and I loved it. Bryan Danielson was 20 different shades of red. Mox is coated in blood, and they shake hands at the end. It's so good. Yes. All the yeses.
Thing is, though, Bryan didn't bleed this match, I don't think. But he was more covered in blood than Mox was.
I think he had a small nick somewhere, but it wasn't like Mox who was just fucking pissing stuff.
Yeah. Like Bryan was coated in Mox's blood more than Mox was. It was a real... Even Riedel wants to get involved in the action. Like, he put his head on Mox's head just to get some blood on there. The only notes I made in this match are about Regal, but I thought you needed it after the last match. I'll let you have it. You can thank me later. I'm just a nice guy like that. Like, Regal coming out alone got a holy shit chance. Just him coming out got a holy shit chance.
Maintain the look of disgust on his face as he walked into the ring. Like, the fuck are you boys doing now? It made me so happy. When Danielson's trying to hug him and he just fucking slaps him straight across the chest, makes me so happy. I love William Regal. Spoilers, I didn't like him when I was a kid, and it was the Attitude Era. I thought he was a dick. Since I've come back in 2018, William Regal's the best. I love William Regal.
I think the best thing about the Bryan slap is you can tell Bryan was so happy. He was trying to hide it, but when Regal slapped him, he was about to smile. He just couldn't. He just knew he shouldn't do it. So he's doing that Thierry Henry smile kind of thing, where he's trying to put the smile away and put his angry face back on, put his big boy boots on, but he just can't hide his happiness. It's fucking Willie Reegs, man. It's like he's coming out as Willie Reegs. That's his name. They've not brought him in as Lord Stevie Reegs or anything like that. Or anything. He's fully brought in as William Regal.
I told you that we got the copyright to his name, but he opened a PWT store. I thought, it's just hoping to make money off merch. I didn't expect this. Nobody expected this. When was the last time we got really shocked by an AEW debut? Like, they always fucking leak out.
Danhausen.
We knew Danhausen was coming. It was just a matter of when.
Yeah, because whenever we talk about Regal, we say, I really want Regal to go to Impact.
Yeah, because we thought, there's no way he's going to AEW. They're the enemy.
Yeah, we thought he'd be a 100% WWE man.
Yeah.
Like, he'd stay loyal to them. He just goes to Impact or New Japan or something like that. No. Just fucking rock up at Revolution, mate. And also...
Have you seen the meme online about Triple H?
No.
There's a picture that's like me, and it's like a dude crying, all my friends off having fun outside. I was like, oh, H. Poor H.
Yeah.
Because literally, bar HBK, they're all gone. They're all
gone.
there.
They're all happy. I'm pretty sure Road Dogg will actually end up in AEW because Gun Billy's there.
Yeah, Billy Gunn's there. There's no reason for him not to.
Like
From what I heard, he was a pretty good producer as well.
Yeah, he's got a lot to offer. Like he could really teach like the young'uns of good shit about promos.
Yeah, he was a great promo back in the day. Because he's one of the few like old school promos. If you go back and listen to him, you didn't really see anything that is hard to listen back to, really. Like there's always bits, but there's not like anything like, oh god, you can't say that now.
I mean, technically, you can't say the vast majority of his thing because, you know, PG and copyright as well.
Yeah. You'd have to change a lot, right? But the actual content of the promos is still fine.
I mean, hey, in 2K22, when he does his entrance, they literally just bleep out the word. I didn't bleep out; they just leave it blank. When he says "your ass better call somebody," they just go "you're better call somebody," and it's fucking annoying. Like, how can you not say ass on a game that's rated 16 plus?
They say ass on the show all the time.
Yeah, they say bitch.
They literally last night had a whole fucking angle about accusing Nikita Lyons of having ass implants. That was an angle.
But no, fucking Road Dogg on the game can't say your ass better call somebody. Bullshit. Again, we've got a massive challenge about something that's not even remotely relevant. We are truly the greatest. Have I rated this match? I don't know. No, I haven't. We none of us have rated this match. Cage Match gave this an 8.73. Matt, what did you give it?
Golden. That's match of the year.
I'll go into 4.75. Bang of a match. Now you get to talk about my boy Sting. Matt, go ahead. I'll let you do the intro for it as well, because I'm nice.
So we get what pre-show we call the piss break match. Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Sting defeating AHFO of Andrade El Idolo, Isaiah Cassidy, and Matt Hardy with Jose.
With Jose the assistant. With Jose.
Jose was there. He got beat up. Like for who the hell beat him up? Was it Sting?
It's always fucking Sting.
Of course, it's Sting. Yeah, Sting beat Jose up. Sting did the crazy. 62-year-old Sting dived through 4 ladders. Andrade killed everyone. Did I say ladders?
You said 4 ladders.
Fuck's sake, 4 tables. You didn't die.
Also, it was 5 tables. Everyone's been saying 4. Everyone's been saying 4, but it was 5 tables.
Sorry. 5 tables. Andrade just tried to kill everyone and did a really good job of doing it. Andrade is the best. Please, more Andrade. Can I have Andrade having a title shot? Or, a run? A streak of wins? Literally anything.
Andrade versus Keith Lee would be very nice.
Oh, please.
It's a match we've not had yet.
Please. What else? Sammy Guevara almost killed Isaiah Cassidy. I'm surprised Isaiah is not concussed. Because his head walloped that table that did not break on the way down. Matt Hardy was the worst part of this match. I don't think I like Matt Hardy anymore.
Don't fucking jinx that's what's going to happen tonight, you fuckface.
Look, if what we think is going to happen tonight and Jeff shows up happens, which it looks like because they've announced an AHFO emergency meeting. Oh,
just imagine if he comes out with the theme and everything.
It's
going to be the happiest I've ever hit. The theme.
The Hardy Boys theme.
Yeah.
No, I think Jeff will come out to one of his own songs. He
Oh,
owns the rights to his TNA theme.
Which one? There's about fucking 10 of them.
Shit, I read the article earlier. Obscure and another one.
No, don't use one of the shit ones. Please let it come out to obsolete.
Oh, not obscure. It might have been obsolete.
It better be obsolete. Obsolete is the one he should be using.
He owns the rights to two of them, and I can't remember which ones they were. I'm pretty sure one was obsolete. I'm going to see if I've still got the article open. Fill time.
Honestly, if the other one's still modest, I'm going to be very happy. Because that's my second favourite one. And I'm a big fan of that one. I know it's not going to be another me because that's the heel one. But that's still my favourite one. Resurrected will be a banger one to come out to. That's a bit of a banger. Similar Creatures is alright. It's not quite the level of Resurrected or Another Me or Still Modest or Obsolete. It's the next one.
He owns the rights to Modest and Obsolete.
Oh, please. I'm saying up just for that. Wait, was it Modest or Still Modest?
Modest.
Oh, please. Oh.
This is according to FRS. He owns the rights to Modest and Obsolete.
I hope with it being I hope it he owns the rights to Still Modest as well, technically, because it's the same thing. It's just like differently done, but it's just a bit better.
AHFO looked like real fucking morons. They had 6 people in this match at one point and still didn't win. And they were wrestling a 62-year-old.
Sting is not just a normal 62-year-old. Sting
Right.
is Sting.
Sting is an enhanced 62-year-old. However, there's still 6 people, Dill.
Sting is fucking Captain America. He's been cryogenically frozen and made to be a big fucking mental bastard who kills everyone.
There's still 6 people.
Sting is 6 people in himself.
Sting is not 6 people. This was WCW level booking this.
Sting is 10 people, mate.
6 people.
Sting has always been 10 people.
It's time for you to talk about your opinions. I've got nothing else to add. This was good.
There's just something about Sting matches on pay-per-views that make me happy. I'm not a big Sting guy. The fact he's still doing mental shit at the age of 62 and not even hurting himself or others. Like, Goldberg should be taking notes. Like, Sting's wrestled consistently for, like, non-stop just for years. Like, this is the biggest break he's had since, like, pre-AEW. Like, from September 2015 until 2021. That 5.5 year period, that's the only gap he's had between graps. Goldberg's had so much and is a lot younger and can't do half the shit Sting does. Like, Sting is genuinely an anomaly. It's like, I wouldn't trust him to wrestle a singles match, like a proper singles match, but in a tag match, 6-man and 8-man, etc. He can do some good shit. Like he's still in his 40s. It's really good. It's really cool. It's a good old TNA boy. I'm really happy. This makes my day. Just seeing Sting do good shit safely. Can people, tell Sammy Guevara to stop doing high spot through tables on pay-per-view, please, because it never goes well. We've learned it never goes well. Not once. Is he actively trying to kill people Matt Hardy's close to, including Matt Hardy? Like, is that a goal he's set out to do? But yeah, this match is shockingly incredible. Like, I don't get how it was so good. When Matt Hardy aside, Darby Allin's the second least good part about the match. It's kind of mental. I feel like he's taking a lot more of a backseat lately with his mental shit. And I feel like it's good for him because he's not going to, retire at the age of fucking 29 or whatever. And he's still doing good shit, so he's not just taking just playing it easy. He's still doing a lot of good shit and still, trying to kill people with his body. I don't know how he does it. But yeah, everything about this match is really good. For some reason, I don't get how or why or when or how or why or how or when.
Andrade.
I mean, Andrade, yeah. Andrade, like, I'm going to compare. I'm going to use metrics to compare this match. And in this match, Andrade is the Hangman Page arc. The Sting is Punk versus MJF. Then everyone else is everyone else. That's the best way I can describe it. Because you got Andrade way up there, just up in the heavens, untouchable. Then you got Sting, who's doing incredible stuff. He's within touching distance, but he's just that bit above everyone else still. Then everyone else is just everyone else. That's all I've got to know. We'll move on to the ratings. Cage Match gave this a 7.38. About 3.5, 3.75 nearly. I give this a 4.25. Legitimately, when this match was, when the entrances were happening, I labelled this match the boring six-man tag. Then boy did this shut me the fuck up again. 4.25. Matt, what did you give it?
I gave it a 4, yeah. Every match that we were a little bit like, maybe this will be the beer fetching match. They were not the beer fetching matches. None of them. 0. Yeah, this was really good. This was non-stop. Top stuff.
It's not even like it's just a lower expectation that made it good, but it's objectively good shit. Like, really good shit. And I'm such a big fan of it. Now we'll move on to the main event of Hangman Adam Page, baby, versus Adam Cole, baby. The crowd were really fun in this match. Like, I could just talk about the crowd in this match for the whole match.
Can I quickly, before you move on to the actual match, can I just make one quick note on the crowd?
Of course.
But for how long the show went on, they were great. However, they did boo Adam Page when he came out, and kind of a little bit throughout the match. And I was real confused. So I went onto the internet to find out why the fuck they booed Adam Page. It's because Cole gets announced from Florida, and apparently the crowd was a lot of like old NXT diehards that were at a lot of the NXT shows, so Cole's their guy. So it made sense. Just in case anyone was also curious.
So I never really noticed it. So I noticed, I noticed a bit when he booed when he tore Cole up and when he's fucking. I can't speak English at a minute. I've got the word. When he tied Cole to the ropes, I heard a bit of booing then. But he was kicking shit through him then, which is yeah. But I love this match. Just the crowd chanting "Let's go, Adam!" starting the match. Let's go, Adam. Adam sucks. It's so good. Honestly, it's good kind of crowd hijacking because everyone's having fun, but it's not taking the piss out of the match. It's just a little bit of fun at the match. Once I really enjoyed it, it made me giggle a lot. This match is just story personified, as pretty much all Adam Page matches are. Shock horror, Adam Cole, none of his finishes work in a big match. I don't know how or why. I think he's turned his sliders down for pay-per-views, so when he hits his finishes, he aren't as effective. I think that's the only way to describe it. Because every big pay-per-view match he has, he can never win with his finishes just once or twice. He has to do about 10 of his finishes to win a match. But this match is incredible. And it featured the biggest return going. Colt Cabana came back. Have you mentioned Colt Cabana coming back, Matt? Have you mentioned Colt Cabana coming back?
It made me sound like a dick because I think I said to you earlier that he was coming back anytime soon.
Yeah.
We were talking randomly about like trios. We were talking about trios titles, and you were saying that about Colt being with Stu and Uno, and I was like, I'm not sure if Colt will be back as much. Fucking shows up the next night. Cheers, Colt. You fucking prick.
I told you it was coming. I knew he was just coming back. But honestly, it was great. There's a bit in the match where Hangman did an air raid crash. I think it was through the table from the apron onto Cole. And then all Dark Order come out. They all gather around Paige, try and help him up because it was a fucking nasty landing. But then Red Dragon come around the other side just behind Dark Order. And Paige fucking shoves Reynolds right into Red Dragon. Then a massive brawl starts. He gets back to the one-on-one match. It's all Gucci. Paige ties Cole up into the ropes with his belt. Kicks every living shit out of him. Big boy Edge. I'm a big fan of Paige showing Edge. And I'm a big fan of him shoving Reynolds. Because I like the way that story's going to go. I like the way he played it up on BTE. I like the way they played up Culver in the Young Bucks on BTE. But they've got so many plates spinning from this match now. It's so interesting to see. Because there was already the Paige Dark Order plate of Paige not being around Dark Order as much now he's got the title. So that plate was always spinning anyway. But now they've got Paige shoving Reynolds. Like the metaphor behind that. Because if you remember when he won the title, Reynolds was the one who gave him the beer and he pushed the beer away. So for Paige to push Reynolds away is fucking mental. It's one of the biggest subtle stories he could have told. And I don't think they'll address much of it anytime soon. But I think at some point in the next 6 months or so, I think they'll massively blow up. I'm so excited to see where it goes. But this match was genuinely a fantastic story throughout. Matt, what was your opinions on it?
I basically agree with a lot of what you said. In the short term, I'm not a big fan of him pushing Reynolds away, but like we said a bit in the Baker Rosa mess with the men, they've earned my trust. I'm more than happy to just let it play out and see which way it goes. But yeah, I also really appreciate Excalibur explaining why the boom was less effective. That was a great save. Cole didn't pull his knee pad down. That protection on his knee has saved Hangman Page. Excalibur, you've pulled that out of your arse, sunshine, and made it work. Top stuff, like golf claps for you. Yeah, I don't really have much more to add. You kind of covered everything major. It was great. I will say I hated Cole's entrance gear. I know it was this little nerd reference to Master Chief. It just didn't look good. Do you know what I mean? Someone said on Twitter, the New Day, when they did the Gears of War gear, looked cool, but still paid homage. Cole literally looked like he'd stolen some like football, American football shoulder pads and stuck some stuff to them and painted them. Wasn't great. I have nothing else to add about that. Also, the handshake at the end, phenomenal. Back to you, Dom.
I just love Hangman Page. It's just incredible sort of storytelling. It's unlike anything you see nowadays. It's like anything I think we ever see anyway. Like the whole Hangman arc is a beautiful film. That once Hangman's retired, honestly, I'd love to just go back and watch the Hangman arc. Just every single bit of it, every single match, every single BTE segment, every single Dynamite Rampage segments, every Twitter post, every Twitter reply. Because everything, there's something everywhere, and I've missed so much of it. There's going to be other things that people have missed. It's like AEW could make so much money off a DVD or something. I'd buy a fucking DVD. Fuck it. Of just the Hangman arc. Even if it's like 2057 or something, I'd still buy a fucking DVD of it. I'd buy a fucking VHS of it if I needed to. But it's just such an incredible arc. It is a genuine Oscar-winning, Oscar-worthy movie. And I love every single bit of it. I need to stop my Hangman simping and now go on to the ratings. Cage Match gave it an 8.46, about 4.25. I gave it a 4.75. The fucking story in this, just with all Hangman matches, it's elevated so much more. Because the match itself is always fine. It's like the match itself is always really, really solid. But the story element is just untouchable. Always has been and always will be. That's Hangman's je ne sais quoi. Matt?
So, what I didn't say when you were talking, after you were talking, is the best thing about this show is it's kind of sort of little nods to all the different kind of major styles of pro wrestling. Like, you've got the Punk MJF, which was a very story-driven match. Mox versus Danielson, which is, like I said, an old-school New Japan pure style match. You had the Eddie Kingston All Japan style match to open the show. You had the tag triple threat, which is very much a modern tag match, which, you know, the Young Bucks have kind of led the way in creating. This was very much a old school ROH / Triple H's NXT nod. This was very much that template of main event. You know, it harkened back to Cole Gargano Andrade, Gargano Black, mainly Gargano being in title matches, I guess. It felt like he was in them all anyway. And everyone else, the only other person who's kind of around at that time who was in title matches we don't talk about anymore. But yeah, it was a real good, like, step back to that era of wrestling that was very enjoyable for a lot of people. And it referenced it really well. It was a good love letter. I appreciated it a lot. 4.75.
Now we've talked about that show, that fucking incredible show. Well, what's the thoughts on it as a whole? Honestly, I loved the show. I could rant and rave about how much I loved it for days and upon days. But Matt, I'll let you go first. What do you think of the show as a whole?
Like I said, there's kind of a little bit of something for everyone. Someone on Twitter that I follow, I think it might have been John Alba, said you could get 100 people and ask them what their favourite match on the show was. And there's probably 5 or 6 different answers for what the best match of the night was. Because I can see people saying the world title match, I can see people saying Mox Danielson, I can see people saying the Dog Collar match, I can see people saying Kingston, Jericho, I can see people saying the tag match. I could probably just about see people saying the pre-show trios match as well, because that was very different to the rest of the card. There wasn't really anything else like it. So yeah, because of that variety, there are some lows. I was very vocal about how much I didn't like the women's world title match. The other women's match on the main card wasn't exceptional. It was good. It's just not. It wasn't at the level of the rest of the card. But for me, the show as a whole is a 4.5 out of 5. The fact my one complaint is so big stops it from being higher. I don't think I've heard anyone else be as vocal against that title match as I have been today. But yeah, apart from that, I have no complaints about the rest of the show. Everything felt about right, or exceeded expectations. Del?
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think it's a 4.5. I'd say that is real close to 4.75, but I don't think it. As I said, them women's matches that kind of drag it down a bit, unfortunately. It's like it is a bit nitpicky, but it's real close. It's like if the women's title match, the world women's title match, was just a little bit less screwy, then it could have pushed it up. But it is what it is. I love the show. I'd argue it's possibly AEW's best wrestling show they've done. It's their best pay-per-view, I think. I think they've had 3 back-to-back their best pay-per-views ever. Every single one, starting from All Out to now. Like every single, like all 3 of them in that time have been the best one they've done so far. Like All Out was incredible. Then for me, Full Gear topped All Out. But now for me, I think Revolution's top Full Gear. Just as a pure wrestling show, nothing else included. It's a pure out-and-out wrestling show. I think this is for my money, this is the best one since Mania X7 that I've seen. Well, this is possibly the best one in my years of actually watching wrestling, because I was only 2 months old when X7 came out. So I have to kind of be reasonable. But in terms of my favourites, I'd say this is my number one pay-per-view of all time. And I think that just about draws us to a close with that. Hot take is going to get a lot of people to, send me angry messages. If you like what you heard, listen to all of our other podcasts on Spotify, Deezer, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube now. And most importantly, you can check us out on the Johnny's Podcasting Network. Is anything else?
Host. The croaky voice of the Midlands. The king of catching colds, Matt Kimbo. And your actual host has been...
They're still fucking ill, but he stepped up to the plate. Still.
And we will see you next time for something new. Sayonara.
Au revoir.
It's all or nothing.
It's all